Peculiar and mysterious, the complexities of the INFJ personality type certainly make for some strange habits and practices. Displaying some of the most surprising and uncharacteristic behaviors, people who know the INFJ are always caught by surprise at just how unpredictable they can be. So, what are some of the strangest things people with this personality type do? Welcome back, psychos. Before we get into it, we'd love it if you liked and subscribed to our channel, as well as to click the post notification bell so you never miss a video. Alright, let's get right into it. Starting with number 1. They have times of uncharacteristic impulsivity. Normally seen as the cautious, calculative, and stable personality type, the INFJ certainly has their times of being rather reckless. They're known to prefer order, structure, and organization. With their calm and collected approach, it's unusual to think of this type derailing and heading down a spontaneous, impulsive pathway. However, due to their extroverted feeling and sensing functions, sometimes this is exactly the case. Sometimes this rather stable type can be overthrown by their extroverted emotional side, resulting in bouts of impulsivity. Whether it's spending money, partying, traveling, or a drastic measure in self-improvement, they end up rationalizing uncharacterized decisions when they desire to make a difference or they find themselves in a stressful situation that they didn't predict. Things like an overwhelming routine, overstayed stagnation, or a lack of interaction can also cause the INFJ to be thrown into a world of unpredictability. Luckily, impulsivity isn't always a bad thing for the logical INFJ type because of its ability to shake the INFJ who's tightly bound in their decision-making. Number 2. They spend an embarrassing amount of time trying to figure themselves out. Through constant internal evaluation, self-questioning, and external observation of their lives at any given time, INFJs can't help but to consistently try and connect the dots of who they are. With an innate mission to find their purpose and place in this world, the INFJ type spends hours a day wondering if they're on the right path. The ironic part is that with so much internal rumination, most would expect them to have it all figured out. In fact, they're quite good at convincing the people around them that that's the case. Despite the fact that most INFJs would rightfully argue that they have a deeper understanding of the purpose of the human experience and the lessons that we are here to learn, they still have their own confusions when it comes to playing the role of a successful human on Earth. Oftentimes, INFJs know exactly what they don't want, but when it comes to understanding what they do want, they're usually just as lost as everyone around them. Number 3. They are extremely particular about random things. With a natural intolerance for things like closed-mindedness, it's surprising when people realize that the INFJ can also be quite unwilling to compromise certain preferences. While this introverted personality type seems reserved and agreeable from the outside, the INFJ isn't always willing to go with the flow. Due to their strongly defined preferences and understandings of the world, they can seem incredibly stubborn at the most random times. Whether it's simple things like clothing, food, and entertainment, or more complex things like how they prefer to live their lives, there are certain beliefs and perceptions that the INFJ can't waver away from. Although they may agree to disagree for the sake of saving themselves from arguments of conflict, it's not uncommon for the INFJ to walk away from the conversation wishing that person could see their point of view. The INFJ's intuitive and curious nature, combined with their clear picture of what they want in life, allows them to view things in a different way, a way that can be near impossible to describe to others. Number 4. They rarely say what they mean and mean what they say. Speaking of their viewpoints being difficult to describe to others, INFJs are challenged with saying what they mean and meaning what they say. One of the telltale signs of a truly genuine person is when someone is able to speak their mind with true authenticity behind the words they say. And while INFJs are known for their genuine, open, and honest hearts, when it comes to speaking their mind, they rarely articulate their thoughts in the fashion they hoped. Although they try their best to put their ideas and beliefs into easily digestible words, the INFJs' through processes are sometimes impossible for others to understand. And so, oftentimes, when the INFJ is challenged with explaining their reasoning for certain conclusions, they give up before they even get started. Unfortunately, the INFJ often feels like it's impossible to trust others' patience to not jump to conclusions before they've communicated what they're attempting to communicate due to the fear of being entirely misunderstood. Which brings us to our next point. Number 5. They're always keeping secrets. This introspective personality type is constantly analyzing and picking up on the energy of the world around them. In fact, it's fair to say that most personality types don't come close to doing the same amount of external and internal analysis as the INFJ, providing them with the ability to see things that others would normally completely overlook. INFJs know things that others don't know, and at times it can make situations feel tense and uncomfortable, as this introverted type is stuck between saying something and risking being misunderstood for their intentions, or holding back and allowing the situation to work itself out. And because the INFJ is so empathetic towards others, they usually end up keeping their lips sealed to ensure they don't hurt any feelings or stir a pot that shouldn't be tampered with. While it's not so noticeable from the outside looking in, if an INFJ knows something that others don't, they're probably screaming inside wanting to tell someone, especially if it would help someone to avoid being hurt in the future. Number 6. They often lack external emotion and reaction. INFJs don't need to be showing a smile in order to be having fun, jump with excitement when they've accomplished a goal, and they don't always give disappointing looks when they're internally unimpressed. A lot of what the INFJ experiences is felt internally, especially when it comes to the emotional aspect of things, rooted in the fact that INFJs experience most emotions through their extroverted feeling function. They're too busy absorbing the energy of the room to be putting on a show of what's happening internally. They don't always resort to physical reactions, changes in body language, or exaggerated facial expressions as some would expect from them. Despite their chameleon-like ability of matching the conversational energy of others, displays of emotion don't come as naturally. Even if someone were to tell them tragic news, INFJs would be seen as completely neutral and calm. In fact, this expressionless tendency is exactly what gives the INFJ their stereotype of being cold and robotic at times. Although they may seem straight-faced in times of expected reaction, there's much more going on behind the curtains than they lead on. Number 7. They squirm in certain times of displays of affection. For most people, things like genuine compliments and gift-giving fill them with happiness and appreciation. However, for the INFJ, certain displays of affection that expect a certain kind of reaction can end up making them squirm in their seats. Despite their internal need for recognition and endearment, there's something about the spotlight being on them that makes them stumble. While the happiness and appreciation is certainly there and will probably linger for long after the awkward interaction takes place, some INFJs feel like they just want to bury their heads in a hole and come out when it's over. In the least egotistical way possible, INFJs know when they're good at something, and they know that they often exceed expectations due to their self-criticism and perfectionism. It's as if they're so sure of themselves that they don't need their decisions approved through a compliment from an acquaintance. Not to mention, they're extremely wary of brown noses. So when someone tries to continually compliment this personality type, the lack of genuinity is obvious. A more comfortable way of paying a compliment or gesture of appreciation to this rational type would be to listen to and follow their advice, without waving it in their face that you've done so. And lastly, number 8. They're easily annoyed, yet extremely tolerant of annoyance. Fellow humans can be annoying for any personality type, especially one that comes with the preference of spending most of their waking hours alone. In fact, This one may seem obvious and maybe not even particularly strange, but the INFJ's annoyance for the people around them goes beyond their introverted nature. Since INFJs are such logical thinkers, it can be difficult for them to understand how and why people think the way they do. The littlest things may get on their nerves, yet their internal understanding of why people are the way they are allows the INFJ the tolerance for such behavior. Their patience and curiosity overrides their annoyance and makes it possible for the INFJ to try their best to dissect certain behaviors, actions, and overall characters they witness. Well, psychos, that's it for today. So, do you do these 8 odd things as an INFJ? Let us know in the comments below. Also, make sure to leave us a like, share with your friends, and subscribe to our channel so that you never miss a video.